unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
All right. Here we go again. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win as a consumer advocate, all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to help you win, as we say. And we want to give a quick shout out to Veteran Gutters. Brandon Porter and his team do a great job. If you're thinking about putting gutters on your property, why not work with a veteran? He's a veteran. He served our country, and his products are made in the good old US of A. Made in the USA. Veteran Gutters. Find them online or at our website, consumerqb.com. We got a great lineup for you today as well. We're going to have our beach update coming up here shortly with Clyde Smith. He's the general manager of the Bilmar Beach Resort. Also, we're going to be speaking about real estate and the markets and title insurance with Kevin Overstreet. He is the owner of Insured Title Company right here in Tampa Bay. And rounding out our expert contributor panel today, we've got David Ringo. You've heard David on the show over the years. He is the owner of 3D Solar. Going to be talking about his westward expansion into California. Some pretty cool things happening in his business as well. And before we jump into that, I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings that we've got here in Tampa Bay. John, let's throw up a couple of those new ones that we just added to the show you can pick. So we've got a property, right here in Tampa Bay. I know a lot of people are looking for residential real estate to buy and live and move into, but sometimes you can't find what you want. Prices are multiple offers on a lot of homes, but we've got a property on Gun Highway. It's Zero Gun Highway, and they assign that zero to it, and as long as it hasn't been built on. But Zero Gun Highway, so it's right there just north of Racetrack Road. 2.21 acres. You've got about an acre buildable, easy access to the Gun Highway. It's waterfront, so you're on a lake right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. We've got great photography, compliments of Fabre Frameworks as well, and a great land listing of ours. We got about 15 other land listings available in Tampa Bay, and we got a beautiful property here as well over in Ennisbrook. If you're familiar with the Ennisbrook golf community, we got a 2-2 condo available over there, unit number 28, almost 1,200 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Get a nice walk-around balcony and a great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay. Work with the pros that can help you get the best deal, help you get your offer accepted. There's strategy around this, and we want to help you. We're a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can save our hotline number in your phone at some point. You may want to reach out and ask questions. We encourage you. We have a lot of listeners, finding out about different aspects of our consumer advocate panel, over 50 different areas of consumer advocate content and advice. Yeah, we're a little bit heavy on real estate, mortgage, those types of things, credit, finance. But we also have lots of great home service companies, lots of attorneys on the show. If you ever need legal advice, we'd love to be a resource for you. 813-750-0550.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Yeah, we love it when the hotline blings and rings. It's an off-air number. You don't have to be on the air, so don't hesitate to call 813-750-0550. And let's go to the phones here. We've got our beach update from Mr. Clyde Smith, General Manager, Bilmar Beach Resort. Hey, Clyde.
Hey, Brandon. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, my friend. Doing wonderful. And yourself?
We are doing fantastic over here. Got so far a light spring break crowd, but they're enjoying this weather. I looked at that forecast this morning. We have 7 days of perfect weather at the beach.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
We're pretty excited about that.
I love it. This is really the time of year that you think about Florida and you think about, wow, just perfect temperature, lighter humidity than, of course, we have in August, and just such a great time, great place to live, work, and play. We truly are blessed to live in one of the, I call it the best Tri-City area in the country. If you look at Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Palm Harbor, Bradenton, Sarasota, you've got all these great areas, and, the economy's doing well. We've got great leadership from our governor, keeping things open within reason. Yeah. And what are you seeing over there, my friend?
Yeah, well, we're just seeing more and more places opening up for the dining options. Of course, we have the two right here on property with our Sloppy Joe's and the outdoor decks. But up Central Avenue, which, of course, goes right from the bay all the way to the beach, we've got more and more places opening. We're over almost up to 200 breweries in our area, if you put it all together, then all the communities you just mentioned. So that makes for great day trips to go out, take your Uber and go downtown and walk around and then come back to the beach in time for the sunset. It's a great way to experience, all of Tampa Bay. You can even get that cross bay taxi service and go over and even experience Ybor City all in a day and then come back here and, again, chill out at the beach for the sunset. So it's a nice setup.
Yeah, that's really cool. Just such a great little escape, too. I think so many people need that escape. They don't treat themselves enough, Clyde. They work so hard going downtown, going to their business, or maybe they own a contracting business, landscape business. You're running around throughout the week. Why not schedule a nice Friday, Saturday, Sunday stay down at the Bilmar Beach Resort? You owe it to yourself. This is a great time to just come down and just unwind. What is some of the feedback you get, Clyde? I'm sure you get people just saying, oh, man, I just really needed this little mini vacation or a full vacation.
It's just amazing how many people we talk to, and you say, so where are you visiting from? And they say Seminole or, Tampa. And it's exactly what they needed. Everyone has, done the right things where we're getting more vaccines out there. So I know people are starting to feel better. But if they look at our reviews and go on and check it out, our customers have been very satisfied with, the protocols that we have in place. And so it's a good time to get out. And it's a perfect time before spring break really kicks in, which is going to be mid-March. I know Sunday through Thursday we have some amazing resident rates that are out there. We have weekday getaways. And it's really the time to come. You can come to a resort and enjoy all the amenities with only about half the people. So it's a perfect time to do that. And you can still get the live music. There's, a dozen places within walking distance of here. And starting this week, 7 days a week, we have live music in Sloppy Joe's. And that's gone over really well. So that way you can come out and hear the guitar or, 2- and 3-piece bands, even Waves, our fun zone with the pool table. We've got Ellie and Company is going to start playing every Friday night there, and that's just a great way to start your weekend.
Yeah, we're talking with Clyde Smith. He's the general manager of the Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We love it when we have, friends or family in town, even out-of-state real estate buyers, investors. We send them down to the Bilmar. They go down there. They have a great time. A lot of our listeners have enjoyed stays over there at the Bilmar Beach Resort. Right there on Treasure Island at the end of Central Avenue. You basically run into it right there. And it's just such a great place to have a good time, enjoy, and de-stress. I think it's a lot about de-stress. I got an interesting story here today too, Clyde. I want to get your take a little bit on this. Is we always do these feel good stories. We love kind of bringing something positive to the marketplace, and it seems like there's so much negativity, of course. But this is interesting. This is about a gal, an immigrant. I came to the country to the U.S. not knowing English with $300 to my name. Today, I am taking NASA to Mars. So she moved to the U.S. from Colombia, and she's an engineer now, NASA engineer, Diana Trujillo. She didn't speak English, so she was cleaning houses, learned English. And then she went on, and here's another quote. It says, I used to clean houses. Today, I'm trying to find out if there's life on another planet, says Trujillo. So I just kind of mentioned that you're a successful business owner. And an entrepreneur in your own like, and kind of an entrepreneur, in that organization and working with the Bilmar. What does that say to America and the opportunity that people have in America?
There's just so many opportunities that are out there. People, just to pick yourself up, know what your goals are, and go out and achieve them. There's so many opportunities. I very closely watch the NASA stories. My father used to be director of shuttle security, so I've been around NASA all my life up until he retired, and so just love to see that program getting back on track after a few years hiatus. And I think it's great. We've had some great success stories here. My assistant, you've met Kim. She's been here for 30 years. Started off as a bartender, and she's director of operations for the entire resort. And we love that. My controller started as a hostess in high school, and she's now our resort controller and human resource managers. So there's so many opportunities, especially in this Tampa Bay area where there, as you said, the commerce is good and the economy is doing the right things. And I think people are really ready to have some fun, and let's all get back to success. I think we're ready for it.
That's right. Yeah, it's the land of opportunity, and if you have a goal or a niche, you can work your way up to the top. I love those stories. You start off, one of the gals you mentioned started off as a bartender, works her way into a high-level position in the front office, and probably had a little bit of a pay increase, I would suspect, in that. But that's the beauty. That's the beauty of America. You have that opportunity, you have that availability to do that, and it's not all bad like the mainstream media likes to paint it sometimes. But so what else? When you have attractions over there, man, I just feel like there's so much to do. Also, we always mention some of the stuff going on down at the beach too.
There is down at the beach. We've had the kites out quite a bit from Windworks over at Johns Pass. Of course, that's only a mile north of us, and Johns Pass is doing great. Some great local restaurants, local shops. Did all my Christmas shopping there at one of the over 100 shops, and it's just up the beach. It's so close, and if you don't feel like the walk, you can just take the free beach ride that's available to take you all over. Great news on the beach is TripAdvisor just came out today. Number one beach in America, our neighbor St. Pete Beach. Beat every other beach in America, including Hawaii, everywhere. And just south of us, north of us, Madeira Beach got in the top 10 for the first time.
Wow.
So really great news for what our beach communities are doing. And I think a lot of it is that we are accessible and we're here. And I know being involved in the boards that I'm on with the other hoteliers, we're all talking about doing the right things to get us through this and make sure not only our guests feel safe, but our employees also.
Yeah, and you think about that too, Clyde. You look at the affordability. You mentioned Hawaii, and of course California may have a couple beaches in there. You look at the affordability when you factor everything in, the absence of a state income tax here in Florida, the absence of a lot of other taxes or different scenarios where you're going to pay more for that entry-level home. You take your standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, 2,000 square feet, 2-car garage, and you price that in different countries, different parts of the country. Tampa Bay is right up there with the best, the most affordable, and we also have high-paying jobs and opportunity that we just mentioned. And
all those winning sports teams we know about.
That's right. So, Tampa Bay, now they call it Tampa Bay. They're thinking about changing the name, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard a couple of different mayors coin that.
Yeah.
But it is going great. And, again, we're running some great specials. We'd love to see more of our, drive-in market. And just go on our website, BilmarBeachResort.com. They're going to see the best rates. We put different specials out there all the time, just try to meet, what people's needs are. And we have all the different room types. So we're 90% are Gulf front. So almost everything you're looking at is going to be facing the beach. And our $1 million sunset. So we hope to see some more of our friends come over soon.
90%, in case you missed it, 90% of the rooms are Gulf front. And I love the ones where you walk right out and you're right on the sugar sand beaches right there. Love it.
The beach walkouts are great. We have the Adirondack chairs out there. Our fire pits are up and going every night. And now, again, as I said, you also get the live music every night. So it's awesome. I don't know of anywhere else better to be myself. My wife and I are talking about doing a staycation ourselves, and we're like, I don't know. Maybe we'll just stay in the neighborhood. It'll work out.
Yeah, there you go. So book direct, Bilmar Beach Resort. Check them out online, book directly, or you can give them a call, talk to Clyde Smith, let them know you're a fan of the program. Clyde, thanks so much. Appreciate the update, my friend.
Thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Hey, my pleasure. All right, Bilmar Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you give them a call. Book directly. Don't book at one of the online engines. You always get your best deal booking directly with the Bilmar Beach Resort. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to come back into some really deep level talk around title insurance, why you need it, what it is, how to protect your assets is very important. There's also a certain level of title fraud out there. We've got an expert in studio, Kevin Overstreet, a longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, plus our feel-good story of the day, find out details more about this awesome story of this immigrant. Came to the country, $300 to her name, and now she's a NASA engineer looking for life on other planets. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We're a top 1% ranked real estate team here. Out of all the 25,000 plus realtors out there, my wife Lindsay and I, our team, we rank in the top 1%. So we'd love to help you if you're buying, selling, or investing. We're also hiring just a couple of realtors right now. We're looking for 2 really good realtors to help us out on the team. Check out this listing, 1010 Bay Esplanade on Clearwater Beach. Gorgeous property. This is a beach dream. Millionaire's Row. You got a private sun deck from the 3rd story. Probably one of my favorite features here. You got a separate apartment that can be rented out. Nice income. Maybe even pay your whole mortgage just by renting out the apartment. And you got a great opportunity here. Almost 3,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2-car garage at 1010 Bay Esplanade on Clearwater Beach. One of our hot listings, probably our premier listing right now on the beach. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. Live that Florida lifestyle at its best. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
And let's give a quick shout out to Chad Irrigation. Victor and his team over at Chad Irrigation. They came out to my home. As you know, I live on a lake. You may know I live on a lake, Lake Tarpon. And they trenched it out, dug it right into. Now we're pulling water out of the lake for our irrigation, saving money on the city water, saving time when it comes to, irrigation. And they just are a first-class organization. I always like to say with the folks that we've worked with here on the show and with my, my personal, is that from firsthand experience, I can tell you they are a first-class organization. They did a great job. Big shout-out to Chad Irrigation, Victor and his team. If you're looking for any kind of irrigation needs, reach out. We'll put you in touch with them. Of course, consumerqb.com is your #1 resource. All right, Kevin Overstreet in the house. Title Insurance 101. What do they need to know, Kevin?
Way more than I can explain in our limited time here. I want to start with a couple of shout-outs, I guess. To Clyde. He said 2 of my favorite things.
Yeah.
St. Pete Beach and Sloppy Joe's.
There you go.
Yeah, and I can that whole South Pinellas region, all those beaches there.
Yeah.
Anywhere from Clearwater all the way down to, what is it, Paso Grill, the last
Paso Grill,
one.
yep.
That is my favorite place in Florida, and I've been almost everywhere. And I tell you what, it's just the beaches are great. The crowds are sometimes busy, but they're super clean and it's well maintained, and just a fantastic place. And then I wanted to mention you again. I mean, I was here last time, and I was happy that you were back, but I can tell that you're feeling about 10 times better than that even.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're
Appreciate that.
so looking good and doing good. And I don't know if this card was for me, but I opened it with you and your family. And as you know, that's the reason to stay alive and be healthy. So,
thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, I realized on the way over here that I get into some pretty complex and kind of deep into the weeds concepts and companies that I'm running with, and I've been doing title insurance since 1998. So to me, it's second nature.
Right.
To almost everyone else, it's relatively unknown. So I wanted to kind of run through what it is, why you need it, the limitations of it, and just give everyone kind of a better understanding of what they have now. Most people go to closings and they're signing documents, and how could they possibly know what all those numbers mean because of the thickness of the closing package or whatever? But to really simplify, so before title insurance, and this happened to Abe Lincoln's family twice actually, and they got relocated, and if not, his family would still be a farmers in Kentucky probably instead of him going to law school and becoming our president. So sometimes it's good, but it was quite literally if Brandon and Lindsay own a home and you have a deed. That deed is your only evidence of ownership before they were recorded and made into public record. And what happened to Tom Lincoln, Abraham's father, is someone out of the blue came along and said, no, that property's mine. Look at my deed. They went in front of a judge, and all he can do is look at which one looks better.
Wow.
And they said, Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln and baby Abe, you got to go.
Wow.
So they lost their house. And then they had a problem to their next house. And then finally Thomas said, let's go to the, I believe it was when the government was selling just massive pieces of land if you stake your land.
Yep.
And then their problems ended. But with the advent of title insurance, and I want to stress how extremely crucial it is that you have, but I also want to talk about some of the limitations of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. What a great story.
Yeah. So what title companies do is we do a search of the public records in order to confirm that the seller is capable of selling the property. And a lot of times at closing, several things happen that make that possible, such as paying off his mortgage and any judgments and things like that. But it's very common for people to believe they own a home because they inherited it from mom, but dad died long before mom, and dad's estate owns half of it still. And there's a bunch of really complicated things that can happen. So buying a property without title insurance is one of the riskiest gambles you can do because you could get Tom Lincoln and someone comes along and says that property's mine.
That's scary.
So we do a search of the public records, and we put together what's called a title commitment, and that is us committing our title underwriter to insure both the buyer and the buyer's lender if it's a mortgage transaction, and based on certain requirements such as paying off the mortgage that's there and cleaning up whatever there may be, and a deed from one to the other, of course. And then we issue 2 policies. They're the only 2 we issue, and one is called an owner's policy of title insurance, and one is called the lender's policy of title insurance. They're very, very different. The owner's policy of title insurance, when I insure your property, I am insuring the legal description, which means Lot 1 in Block 4 of the subdivision that you're in, it's been surveyed and all of that, and I'm literally just ensuring that little section of land is owned by you. The house doesn't really matter to us. So, and this is a misconception too, is you can build $1 million house on that and it catches on fire and burns down. That doesn't affect us. We don't fix that. So what we're doing is we're making you safe and feel secure that if someone from the past says, hey, I was an heir of the person that you purchased that or the estate of the person you purchased that from,
right,
it's my house. And we see these kinds of things a few times a year where sometimes it's dirty business, sometimes it's not. But that's when you make a title claim, and the title underwriters, I'm not an underwriter. I don't have the money to be one, but Fidelity, for example, is one of our main ones, and they're a 30,000 person company that has pockets way deeper than any of us.
What percentage do you think they actually get into a situation where they have a claim, and then what percentage do they have to pay out, do you think? Less than 5%, less than 1%? It
depends. It really depends on the type of claim. And and this isn't picking on title insurance underwriters, but any insurance carrier, they really have, to simplify, they really have 2 goals: collect premiums and deny claims.
There you go. Yeah.
So they will look very quickly to see if they can deny the claim.
Yeah.
And there are many, many times that they can, but if they don't, or can't, or choose not to, that owner, that buyer that has that owner's policy is their client, and they go to bat for you, and they've got attorneys that are way smarter than any of these folks you deal with when it comes to title.
Yeah. We're coming into our break. You want to tease what we're going to talk about in the next segment?
I'm going to tell you how the owner's policy isn't required, but it's required.
Okay. Right. I like it. All right. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1, at the Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We'd love to talk to you about buying, selling, or investing. We've got Kevin Overstreet in the house, a wealth of knowledge around title insurance, and we are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
right, Johnny, let me know when you want to proceed. All righty. In that case, everyone, please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Shout out to Golf Cart Depot, a.k.a. Discovery Golf Cars. They've got 2 locations here in Tampa Bay. One right off of 19 in Clearwater. You've probably driven by and seen that over to the west side of 19. Also, they're up off of in Land O'Lakes in Tampa, North Tampa side. Discovery Golf Cars. Great company to work with. They've got awesome choices. You can choose from Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman, and we highly recommend Discovery Golf Cars. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on the special offers and incentives if you just mentioned that you heard them right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got Kevin Overstreet in the house right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He is an owner of multiple companies, but today we're talking more about title insurance, why you need it, what's it for, and the premiums and all the good stuff that goes along with it, Kevin.
Sure. You said premiums and good stuff. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how I get paid. So let's talk about the differences between the owner's policy and the lender's policy.
Okay.
You and Lindsay purchase a house and get a mortgage. I'm going to issue a policy to you,
okay,
proving your ownership of that lot, basically. And the lender, what I'm insuring for them is I'm insuring their financial position in your property, which means if you sell, refinance, or go into foreclosure, they get paid first. And if for some reason they don't get paid first, then my underwriters have to make them whole. And they take that very seriously.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've noticed on the closing disclosure. So we used to have the HUD, and the 2-page HUD, the government said it was too complicated, so they simplified it into a 5-page closing disclosure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's way more complicated and confusing. But if you look on the owner's policy premium line of page 3 of the closing disclosure, right next to that it says the word optional. And it is optional. And the Florida Land Title Association fought like heck to get that word removed. However, it is optional. But imagine this scenario, and I've seen it once. So typically in Tampa Bay, the seller pays for the owner's policy, and the buyer pays for the lender's policy.
Right.
Now, there's a very cool thing that happens with pricing, which is that owner's policy can be for $100,000. It could be for $10 million. But the lender's policy, if I'm issuing it simultaneously, I can charge as low as $25.
Wow.
I can charge way more, and a lot of people do, but that $25 is because there's no additional risk. If it's $1 million property and there's a total loss because someone from the past comes and owns the property, well, the title company is going to pay $1 million, but the first payment goes to the lender to make them whole, and then the owners get the rest. However, since we have sellers paying for owner's policy and buyers paying for lender's policy, typically that very low $25, the seller can say, they do say, and it takes a little salesmanship to get them to unsay it, but they can say, look, right, here's this, let's say a $185,000 transaction. That's exactly a $2,000 premium. They might say, it says right there it's optional. I'm not buying it.
Wow.
So that could be a fight, and the let's say they just don't get it for the buyer, then that buyer's policy, let's say it's also $185,000. That goes from $25 back up to $2,000 because it's no longer being simultaneously issued. So that's just something to keep in mind, and anyone can get in touch with me and I can answer these questions more clearly. But where was I next?
Well, that's interesting, though, Kevin. What you're saying is, because it does say optional on there. Some people think, it's not a wise choice to make it optional, though, right?
Not at all. Not
Right.
at all. We had the deal that illustrates it the best is we had a closing that seemed absolutely normal. It was a northern Florida county. The realtor was really in a big hurry to get it done, which is kind of a red flag. But maybe he just wanted to get paid.
Yeah, rush.
Yeah, and so it was a single lady whose husband and she and her husband used to own the property, and then he passed away, so it reverted to her as for full ownership, and she was selling that property. We sold it, no problem. Buyer got a lender's policy, and then I started getting all these strange letters in Greek from Greece, because the gentleman who had passed away had never divorced his wife in Greece before moving here and marrying Theodora.
Wow.
So Greek law says she has a right to half of that property. My underwriter said, okay, you have nothing to worry about, and the buyer has nothing to worry about. So they made everyone whole. What they ended up doing was paying that lady in Greece half of the value of the sale.
Wow.
Without that title insurance, then that Greek lady could have probably forced a sale or taken the property from the buyer.
Right.
And so that's a great example of why you need it. And
Right.
and also it's just security, and you get a discount if you refinance and things like that. So
Wow, that's a great illustration of why you need title insurance, what the importance is. And if you just joined us, Kevin Overstreet's in the house. He is the owner of Insured Title Agency right here in Tampa Bay, talking about title insurance, why you need it. And also the Matthew Cox story comes to mind. I'm sure there were some issues where title insurance would have been needed in those scenarios.
It was needed, and it was also used often, and it saved a lot of people from a lot of heartache. And I'm glad you mentioned his name, because
he was on American Greed. Matthew Cox. He was on our show. You can go to YouTube, type in Consumer Quarterback Show, Matthew Cox, Kevin Overstreet, and you'll find it.
So he is. I did about a 4.5 hour long interview with him that I've got a transcript that's that thick, and a lot of that's going to go into the book with his permission. So that's the book is Fraudshine State, the Fraudshine State.
Yep.
Been working on it forever, but I just can't get the stories to finish so that I can finish it. But Matt just called me yesterday, and I don't know if you've seen the movie, and I had just watched it 2 days earlier, War Dogs.
Yes.
Okay, so the character that Jonah Hill played, the heavy guy, Ephraim DiVeroli. Matt, when he was in prison, wrote Ephraim's memoirs.
Oh, wow.
So they have a connection there. And they happen to be talking, and this is Matt telling me, they happen to be speaking to me about me on the phone. And Ephraim said, wow, let's get together with that guy right away. So it appears I'm going to have two pretty high-profile criminals, very white-collar and
in nature
and brilliant
Yep.
criminals that got caught that are going to be able to help me advance this. So, and what we're talking about now is my company, Property Firewall. So the book, The Fraudshine State, what it is, it's an exposure. It exposes the epidemic of house stealing in Florida. That is the hardest thing to get Joe Public to believe is true.
Oh, yeah.
They believe title insurance protects them. One guy believes his shotgun protection. And to get them to understand that, look, no one's taking your house. They're taking title and taking money. So that learning curve is challenging.
Yeah, they're fighting you through the legal system, not straight up.
Well, they just don't believe it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many scams out there. I mean, this is the Fraudshine State. So,
yeah.
So what I've chosen to do, and I'm actually hopefully cementing a deal this week with an identity theft protection guy.
There you go.
That you introduced me to.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Great guy.
So Iran and I have been talking quite a bit.
Yep.
And we have a call today to schedule my trip to go up there and see him. And
Nice.
and it'll be Property Firewall, because we have that system very well figured out, and it's very robust. But instead of that being the brand, it's going to be a tag along with his upper level memberships. And what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is, at least in the interim, I want to tag along with as many different services as I can. Home security, think of everyone but ADT, because ADT is so big.
Yep.
And they're not securing the home because the title isn't secured. So it looks like you're about ready for a break.
Kevin, how can we get people in touch with you? Where do you want people to go to check out all your businesses?
Yeah, so the best website would be to go to www at KevinOverstreet.com.
KevinOverstreet.com.
Yeah, I'm
and you got multiple companies. You got books you're writing. You're almost done with Fraudshine State. Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Property Firewall. Insured title agency. A lot of FSBOs out there. If you're FSBOing your home for sale by owner your home, talk to Kevin. He'll help you walk through the process. And just a great guy right here in Tampa Bay. Keep up the good work, my friend.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. All right. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into solar. We're going to talk about the solar, what's happening. With the new administration, I think there's going to be a lot of things opening up for companies like David Ringo's 3D Solar. You've heard him on a show over the years. He's opening up and expanding into California. Talk about that. You talk about the growth in the United States and the availability for entrepreneurship. David's a great example of that. So he's going to be right here with us on the show. Plus, our feel-good story of the day. This is about an immigrant moving from Colombia, and now she is an engineer with NASA. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253.
Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals. Every day, we're going to tell you something positive here in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is, the immigrant that came to the United States not knowing English with $300 to her name, and now she's a NASA scientist. She's looking to go to Mars, NASA engineer, that is. Diana Trujillo didn't speak English. She paid her way through college cleaning houses. She learned English, and now working to send her second spacecraft to the surface of Mars. Talk about an American, success story. Wow, unbelievable. So she used to clean houses, and now she's got another life. She's searching for life on another planet. She arrived when she was 17 years old with $300 to her name. Her parents were still living in Colombia. When I arrived in the United States, my goal was to help Mom. To tell you the truth, the first objective was not to starve, and that was very clear to me in my head what that I had to do to survive. And you talk about that immigrant work ethic. I mean, this is exactly what we talk about. After that, I was really well with college. Learning English. I didn't have such good at grades, but the teachers were the ones that told me I had to apply so I could see what other things I could do in my life. And now she's an aerospace engineer with NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and she is a mission lead for Mars Curiosity rover, where she developed dust removal. She currently leads the team of engineering and is in charge of the 7-foot robotic arm of Perseverance rollover that landed on Mars. She's the first Hispanic immigrant woman to be accepted to NASA Academy and hopes to inspire the next generation to follow in her footsteps. Awesome story. Love that. And great stuff here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to go right to the phones now. We've got David Ringo calling us in. I believe he's calling live from California, I believe. Is that right, Dave?
Yes, Brandon. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And yourself?
Good. I'm just glad you can hear me. I didn't know if it was going to work today. But, yes, I'm in California this morning. today. It's a couple hours behind, so I'm just trying to get used to the time change. But and it was 41 degrees here this morning, surprisingly. So a little bit chillier than back home.
You down south or up north?
It's central, basically.
Central,
so I'm not
okay.
going to tell you exactly where it is until we get some things ironed out here and get some stuff going on. But just coming out here, meeting some guys that came out to meet us the other day, and we're going to be doing some projects together. So
very good. Yeah, it seems like a natural move for you. You're doing such a great job here in Tampa Bay and in Florida to move out to California. It seems like there might be some good legislation as well that may help you.
absolutely, the legislation. Well, just in general, what I really have been intrigued with in the California market, and we really need to lobby to make this, statewide in Florida, and if not, just go ahead and do it nationwide. But for us, like when we do a project in Florida, we're probably 4 to 6 weeks out just because of permitting and so on. Brandon, they're doing jobs here in 4 days from sign to install. 4 days instead of 4 weeks. So, it's so much faster, so much quicker. It's just, you get somebody signed on a Monday, on Friday they're getting the inspections done and their system's turned on Friday, the same week. So I really questioned it, and I've come out here. I just sat through a couple meetings and their production meetings and how they're doing it. They're selling quite a few jobs, and they're doing these jobs and putting them in 4 or 5 days. It's crazy. So, we would just love to be able to do that. So there's nothing that they're doing different systemically, really. We're doing the same things. It's just that the permitting and the counties, the AHJs, they're taking a little bit in Florida. They just take time. They take time to get through that. So, but the thing about California is, they've been doing solar for longer than I can even think of. It's just, probably 50% of the nation's solar installed in residential is in California. It's everywhere. It's very, very saturated market. So
wow.
They've got it down. They've got it down to science. And they know how to do these, the inspections and permits and all that stuff. So it's very quick. So that's what intrigued me, and I started talking to them, and next thing you know, they came out and visited us last week, and I said they were here Friday, and so I literally said, hey, man, when I got out here yesterday. So took over the weekend 2 days to really decide I was going to come out here. So, but,
very good.
And then,
now, tax incentives out there, you probably have a little bit more from the state in tax incentives, or is it the federal?
It totally depends, but yeah, federal is huge, obviously. But there are areas in California that do have some incentives. Now, keep in mind, and one thing that I'd like to see in Florida and anywhere, and I know they've talked about it in Miami and St. Pete and some of the larger, but maybe even Orlando and Jacksonville. I don't know, maybe Tampa, but they're talking. In California, you're required to have solar on any new build. So you're starting a new house, you're building a new house, you got solar on it, man.
Wow.
So it's coming pre-built with solar on it, which, it's fantastic. So I think for the environment and everything, it's just a great initiative, if you will. I think that's fantastic. So they're buying houses and putting it right in the mortgage, and, it's not that expensive compared to, buying a solar system retro. It can be pricey depending on how you do it. But, putting in your mortgage right off the bat for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's really, really, really enticing. Let me just say.
That's something we had spoke about off air, as well as, trying to figure out a plan in Florida for that. Did you get, any insights on that, and maybe something you can bring back to Florida? And by the way, we're talking with David Ringo here, 3D Solar on the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of 3D Solar, right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Yes, so there's so many different ways of looking at it, and there are companies that are going to start offering the mortgage/solar investment. So from when you purchase and/or if you, I'm trying to get it to where that when they actually, refi, because refi seems to be a pretty popular thing right now. The rates better than I do, but could you imagine being able to refinance and just throw solar in on it and practically free, because depending on how much you save in your house, how much your home's worth, and all that stuff. There's a lot of variables, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's some situations where you could literally just have a free solar system. I mean, that's just crazy by refinancing your house. So who wouldn't want to do that? So
exactly.
And
let's also talk about the the Paris Climate Accord, that is going to be something I think is going to help out your industry significantly when you look at some of the additional taxes that folks are going to have, and the incentives as well.
Brandon, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of things that are going on like that. The Paris is one deal. We're talking. Last time we talked, I think Tico was asking. I think we were talking about Tico asking for an 18% rate hike. I mean, that's common. FPL is getting ready to come out with another one. So it doesn't matter where you're at in Florida, you're going to be, or anywhere in the country, your pricing is going to change and it's going to go up. And like you said, the Paris, there's a lot of, we can have a whole session on that. Maybe the next time we talk, we really dig into that. But you're right. There's things in that help out our industry. And then you look at the things that just happened weather-wise in Texas. I mean,
exactly.
We have people down there. Listen, I don't have installs there, but I know people that have solar with batteries, and they didn't lose power at all. They weren't even affected. And then you've got people that are trying to live off of, the regular grid that's driven by these, gigantic windmills that they weren't prepared for icing over. And the next thing you know, they're rolling brownouts and dealing without power for, 12 hours at a time. So I actually have relatives there that I think their house is 40-some degrees in Texas. Listen, I know Texas has much more ranging temperatures and weather than we do in Florida, but that's quite dramatic when you have inside your house is 40 degrees, and you've seen the pictures, I'm sure, of the ceiling fans covered in ice, and there's just all kinds of crazy things going on down there. So, but I have seen a lot of people posting, and I know a lot of people down there that have solar with battery backups, and they're with power, and so they have no issues. Their heat is running and everything's going. So it's really one of those type of situations. I hate seeing scenarios like that, but we need to take these and learn from them and see what we can do to make this place better. But we do have to do something to save our planet as best we can, and what we've got going on with renewables is the way to do it. Whether we figure, the windmills were, there's a challenge there. Like I said in Texas, I'm not saying that all of them's bad. That's not the case, but if you had solar and batteries, it might have worked out a little bit better in Texas. So
absolutely.
But,
what about the affordability of batteries? Has that come down year over year, or is it still a little bit kind of a stretch for some people?
I will say this: if I don't have batteries on my house currently, I still think that the value for the price is a little bit high. Mm-hmm. There are people that just want to have them. We've installed plenty of them. We've installed all kinds of different batteries, setups, different manufacturers, and so on. And you can't say no to somebody that wants a battery system, especially if there's certain reasons that they want them. I mean, you got somebody that needs to live on oxygen, and if they don't have the oxygen, you've got a scenario that you could be facing a life or death situation, and they want a battery for that. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to provide them the battery and support them in every way they can. Some people are leaning toward generators. Some people can't really do the generators because they don't have natural gas, and there's nowhere in their small lot of a yard to put a underground propane tank. So generators are not always an option. And it depends. We try and weigh out the backup, whether it be a generator or batteries. But you asked a great question, and it's the value and the affordability of batteries is the great way of saying it. But it's going to get better. There's a couple things. It seems to me like they're the microwave of the 80s right now. The technology is going to get better. Remember how big they were? I mean, they were 120. It took two people to move those things, and they would kind of warm up a cup of coffee. Now you got them to where you can throw them in the backseat of a car, grab it with one hand, throw it in your arm, go put it in the office, and you're heating up lunch.
Yeah.
So they're going to be, the batteries are going to get stronger.
Dave, 30 seconds here. What's the best way to get a hold of you and any other shout-outs for you?
Man, go to our website, www.3d.solar. That's our URL. It's not .com or anything. It's 3d.solar. .solar is now a URL, and we were lucky enough to grab it. So, and then if not, give us a call, 727-868-0110. That's 3D Solar, 727-868-0110.
868-0110. David Ringo Tampa Bay Business Journal's top 50. He was Fast 50. I mean, they were in the number 8, I think it was last time. Great company, longtime friend of the program, and he's a straight shooter. He's going to tell you what you need on your roof, properly sizing it out. Hey, another great show. Kevin Overstreet was on the show as well, talking about title. Clyde Smith, Bilmar Beach Resort. And we always say we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.